Awesome. Well, welcome. Thank you for being here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Divergent Talent Alchemist. I'm Jen Benford. I'm here today with Josh Woll, and he is going to tell us all about his journey um, related to sobriety. He is 5 years plus alcohol free, which is so cool. And he also does a lot of other cool stuff like video production, and um, he is a creative. So we definitely have that in common, and really excited to have him on to talk about a very vulnerable topic. And really want people to have some good takeaways. If you've thought about maybe putting the bottle down, we've both done it. And life is ultimately, in my opinion, better that way. And so I'm tossing the baton to you, Josh, to introduce yourself. And then we're just going to have a casual chat today.
Cool. Well, Jen, thanks for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Yeah, and thank you to everyone that's joining us. It's like your time is so valuable, and that you're here sharing it with us is really a pleasure. Even if you pop off in a few minutes, that's totally fine. But yeah. So let's see. Well, I'll give a quick background on myself. Yeah, I'm a creative. I've been in, pretty much in entrepreneurship and freelance work since I got out of college. Back in 2005, I started doing weddings. I went to film school and just really appreciated like going to college and then learning about film and going into like an edit bay. And in the back then they didn't have the computers where you could do the editing and splicing and such. They were all tape to tape, and so they had the big walls and such. And I walked in that room and thought like, wow, this would be a really cool job to edit feature films. And that was the path I took, and they were starting to kind of move into nonlinear editing. And I had always been into like computers and video games and such, and so that was like my passion. And so I went down that path, did film studies, amazing connections, lots of experience. There was a professor in school that pretty much did everything. Like he did camera, he did editing, he did lighting, sound, motion graphics. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, that's what I want to do. And so went down that path, did a ton of weddings, learned so much in that field. It was repetitive, but like it was documentary based because you didn't know when the moments were going to happen. And I always love like looking for little details. Like I just love details, especially like I can walk in any room and I'm just so curious to like look around and just take in like the little details that are everywhere. And so I think that definitely made it special when I would produce these films. I mean, they would love it because it had like a cinematic approach, and it was just starting where wedding films were starting to get to like the next level and such. And so I had fun doing that, and that kind of morphed into yeah, doing more documentary work. Worked on a PBS series called A Chef's Life for almost 6 seasons. Won a Peabody and a few Emmys with that project. That was amazing.
So cool.
Um, we've got a new project that's coming out this Thursday, that is gonna be on Amazon Prime. It's called Kyle Larson versus the Double, and we followed Kyle. I don't, have you heard of know what the double is?
Well, he is a race car driver, right?
Mm,
Kyle
yeah.
Larson. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
races for NASCAR, and the double is where a NASCAR driver attempts to do the Indy 500 and a NASCAR race in the same day. And that's 1,100 miles, I think. And it's insane. Two different states, two, it's probably like 6, 7 hours in each car. And so we documented him for 3 years trying to do both. And he wasn't able to complete it, and so it was one of these projects where I was like, "How are you gonna make this a happy ending?" And In a way, it's not, but it's a really good film. I just watched it last night. We had the premiere last night in Charlotte.
Night?
Yeah, it was last night. So the premiere is this Thursday. And it's really good. It's really well done. I hadn't seen it since we had shot it, and I was one of the directors of photography along with an amazing crew, just a part of it. And so, yeah, it was fun seeing it on the big screen. So, um,
Congratulations, that is so
thanks. Yeah.
cool. I can't wait to watch it. Where can I watch it? Amazon Prime, is it?
Amazon Prime. Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
this Thursday. And yeah, I mean, I've, and I feel like being on that project, like my work has gotten better that I've been sober. Like I feel more attentive and um that 12 hours that Steve, yeah, that is so true, so true. Um but I feel like being sober, like my work has definitely gotten better through it and just really enjoying the process and being present for it. And to kind of shift gears, ooh, that was a nice pun.
He's witty, he's funny, he's sober, he's creative, he shoots videos. I love it. That is so cool, first
Yeah.
off. No, before we switch gears, pun intended, that's just super, I mean, that's an incredible accomplishment. So,
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
big big, kudos to you. I'm excited to watch. Agree with Steve, 12 hours in the car, that's a lot, but that had to be so cool to see your work because you said 3 years you were filming him. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's the director, like, I've worked with her for many years, and there was another project that's on HBO, it's called Burden of Proof that we worked on. That was a 10-year project, and I was off and on throughout the 10 years in that one, and that one's a completely different story. It's, a guy's sister goes missing, and he does his best to try and find her from, like, 30 years that she's been gone. And so that's a deep, intricate story, in itself. But yeah, yeah, I've really enjoyed, that process, the creative process behind being behind the camera. So
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. Um,
that's awesome. Yeah, so tell switching gears,
yeah.
tell us more.
Yeah. So doing this work, I think just yeah, doing this work, like there was always something that I wanted to do that was a bit more than just doing camera work. And so working on myself, which I'll tell this story in a little bit, seeing the benefits that have come from it is like, okay, I want to give this back to people. Like I want to share this. I want to like I know what it's felt like for me, and so it's like how do I give that back to others? And so I started working with my mentors, Carolina Wilkie and Phil Powis of Sacred Business Flow, and they helped me kind of steer into the direction of like, how can I create a business that is like all of me? And we started out being to where it was going to be just me teaching people how to start a video business from like a more health conscious perspective. And it started out well, but it still felt off. And so they started asking me questions, and one of the questions was around sobriety. And we're in WhatsApp, and so we're sending messages back and forth. And the audio message when they asked me that question was like 10 minutes in a reply. I was just riffing, and they were like, that's that's it. That's your work, And so that's when I responded back after they said gave me the go, I mentioned the sober creative, like somehow just in the midst of responding to them. And they were like, well, okay, well that's your title of your business now. And so purchase a domain and yeah, and so now it's been a little over a year of building it and started out as a newsletter, coaching practice, and now we just launched a community, and so it's super, super cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so the community, it's in support of people who
Yeah.
are looking to potentially quit alcohol, drugs, you know?
Yeah, 100%, and I think, you know, it's it's started to, you know, if someone is like, I guess everybody has a different relationship with it, right? And so, you know, depending upon where you're at, you might need a little bit more support before the community can be, you know, be at that level. Because you know, the community is really centered around, you know, people that desire this lifestyle around sobriety. And you know, when you choose that lifestyle, you know, it's hard. I mean, I think the journey through life is hard in so many different ways, and you know, it can feel kind of lonely, you know, with choosing this path. I mean, if you go out anywhere, you know, you go out to a bar, you go out to a restaurant, you're like the odd one out. And so I wanted to create a space that was like, how can we support each other, you know, in building this lifestyle and community out of this. And it's been great. It's awesome. I think there's one of them here. I thought I saw Noel pop up in the chat. And so, yeah, it's amazing. We meet biweekly. We're going to do quarterly workshops. With the meetings, I do a guided meditation each meeting, and then we just really allow each other to share space on what we're going through, what we're working on. Um, yeah, it's really cool. So,
Hi, Noelle. Noelle's here. She says hi. That's
um,
really awesome. I love your mission, giving back, helping other people. And I have shared this a little bit on my Substack, but I'm on a similar path, which is how we connected. Oh, I would be remiss if we didn't shout out Dr. Sam Illingworth, by the way.
oh, Sam.
Yeah, Sam, thank you for connecting us. We all have, the alcohol free in common amongst the creativity and other things. So that's one of the beautiful things about Substack is just connecting with people who get it on similar journeys. And
Yeah.
gosh, it's like 5 years ago when I quit, I would have loved to have a community like the one that you've built to join. I didn't know, I never went to like an AA meeting or anything like that. So to your point, it can be very lonely. It's a big shift because it's so ingrained in our culture, right?
It's so ingrained. Yeah, and I didn't go that path either, you know, and it's I think there's so much benefit to you know, the recovery programs with AA. I facilitate for one that's called Recovery Dharma. Have you heard of Recovery Dharma? No.
No.
It's I think I like to call it it's AA meets Buddha, and so it's more based off of like the Eightfold Path and the Four Noble Truths, and um, you know, just kindness and wisdom, and like your own path and speaking an I, and yeah, it's a really great community, and it's been awesome to, you know, facilitate meetings for that. And so, but yeah, I mean, it's like there isn't many spaces in this specific realm, and so it's been awesome to initiate that and see where it goes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really exciting.
I want to dig more into um your decision to get sober, but before, because we're talking about your community, if somebody's listening and wants to join, how can they sign up?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So on my homepage, on my Substack profile, there's listings at the top that have different ways that you can work with me. And so there's the one-on-one and then there's the collective. And so it's the Sober Creative Collective. And so there's a really nice piece that describes the collective. And it was, one of the community members that is a part of it, like whenever my coaches are like, "You just gotta create it," right? And so it's you get nervous of launching something that you don't know what's gonna happen, right? And so but then you just put it out there, you hit that publish button, and I think it was the day that I hit publish that I mean, it's like I don't know where she came from, and in the notes, like, she puts this amazing testimonial that was just like, "I wish I had this 40 years ago," and it was it's so touching, that's like I put that out in the universe and then that was like a part of the answer, and so I've put that testimonial in that essay and, yeah, it's really, really cool, so,
Yeah. And thank you for creating the space and sharing your story because to your point, there aren't many spaces that talk about this out in the open on the internet, telling, your own personal story. There's like a certain amount of vulnerability that comes with that. And it's hard. It's a heavy topic. And to know that you don't have to go through it alone is just
yeah, yeah.
awesome. So very, very excited for what you're continuing to build and tell us too, like a little bit more about how you decided like, okay, I'm not gonna partake in this anymore. Was it a specific moment in time or was it a buildup or tell us more?
Yeah, it was a buildup, but, like, I was thinking of, like, how to answer this, and I'm gonna take you way back, and to kind of, I think, shed a bit of light on, like, why, like, I chose like, why drinking became, like, a part of my usage, and so, um, I had a beautiful childhood, like, I really did, like, my parents were extremely loving and kind and, provided so many opportunities of activities and, trips and just a very, very rich, like, childhood. And, through that time, I mean, I have a brother, but, like, through my parents, I'm an only child, and so there's a lot of attention, that was provided, and so, fast forward through high school and even middle school, like, there was an incident in middle school where, I experienced bullying for the first time, and like, it's very visual, like, I remember being on my bike, and the guy was sitting on the wall, like, in front of me. I mean, he was calling me different names that I won't say, but I don't I think I may have, like, not responded in a way to him that he wanted, like, he probably wanted a bit more pushback, and I wasn't giving that to him. I don't really remember exactly what I said, but I remember leaving, and my friend yelled, and he's like, "Josh, he's coming." And I look behind me, and he's running towards me, and so I start pedaling faster, and I go around the corner, and this was in middle school, and I couldn't get away fast enough, I was fleeing, and he rips me off my bike and wants to fight me, and I don't know how to fight, and so I was like, "I'm not gonna fight you," and, it's just, like, in that moment of fear of, like, "I don't know how to do this," and so you carry that on through high school, and, um, there's a few other instances like that. And, and these little moments that happen in our lives, like, they really shape, like, our instances of, like, how we move through life, and so, Yeah, I mean, that definitely affected my confidence, and, I could see, like, through high school, there was a disconnect of not being happy for whatever reason it might be, of, like, looking back at photos and such of, like, not seeing the same happy Josh as a kid, and being like, "Okay, where did that what happened? What was the shift there?" And, you move through high school with so much judgment that you experience from everybody else and the, like, trying to fit in and the image, and it's hard, and so I think, drinking drugs, smoking weed, doing a lot of ecstasy, having a couple of, LSD trips, it was all, like, experimenting, and I think probably turned into, like, how do I deal with these difficult emotions that I carry every single day? And not knowing how to regulate those thoughts and emotions, turns to where alcohol becomes this substance that's like, this is how I regulate. This is how I get through the end of the day. And because, you don't like doing this work, this self work, when you really go inside, like you start to see that a lot of the suffering comes from our thoughts. And so we have so many different interactions and moments, and it's on average between 50 to 60,000 thoughts that we have per day. And trying to manage life and trying to manage that is really challenging. And so and it makes sense of why at the end of the day you're like, fuck, I just need a break. I just need to take this edge off. And alcohol has been so deeply ingrained in our society and easily accessible that that's what we can reach for and easily get to kind of calm things down. And so I would say I predominantly used alcohol to deal with depression, and even though it was like I still functioned and could still highly function and produce and do all that, on a daily basis. Um, but it was still like a means of, like, I don't like how this feels. And so I like the numbing feeling. I like that I don't have to feel the hard stuff. And it's once I was really into fitness, and so I was doing a Orange Theory fitness class.
Awesome. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, I was in the class one day, and my coach, I was on the doing the treadmill segment and just out of breath and just bent over, and he comes up to me and he's like, "What's going on?" And it's like, "I drank too much last night. I can't do it." And everybody else is just tearing it up, and he's like, "You're just not gonna get to the next level if you keep drinking like that." And that was like kind of the quiet whisper of like, okay, I want to make a change. And it still took 2 years from that point to try and control it and create a journal around it of tracking and seeing if there were patterns around like what was causing me to drink. I mean, pretty much it like my subconscious had already made its mind up in the morning. Um, Even though I would be like, I'm not drinking. There's no way I'm doing this again tonight. And sure enough, 5 o'clock would hit, and it's like, what a hard day. I just need the edge off. And so gradually kept trying and trying and trying. Annie Grace's book, This Naked Mind, was a big part of shifting my thoughts around alcohol. She does a really beautiful job in that book. but it was August 19th, 2020 that I decided to publicly commit to a year without it. And that was like 3 months in, and I knew that this was it for me. Like, I yeah, I mean, it's rare that I think about having it. Like, even last night at the premiere, I got a mocktail at the bar and just enjoying that drink, like, it's a regular drink. And so, yeah, I'll leave it there and see, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, so many things. You brought tears to my eyes. You I was just gonna say you drink a lot of spindrifts now, right? Like
Yeah.
that's there I think there is like a psychological thing of like having gone through a similar experience. Like, I don't know if this is you, but did you stock your fridge with the seltzers and other drinks, and now you have your mocktail, you go out and you order that, and you just get into this rhythm, and there are so many non-alcoholic options now too for the people listening that, um, help you feel like you're still participating even though you're not having the thing that's gonna alter your state of mind.
Yeah, 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 definitely, and I mean, it yeah, I mean, there's, like, the oral satisfaction. That's not a word, is that? Oh, good.
Satisfactive.
Thanks, thanks.
This is
Um,
a heavy thing.
it's suspect, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but, like, yeah, I mean, just cracking the can open, right, and just the feeling, the texture, the cold, I mean, I love that, and so, um but yeah, and I mean, that you can get so creative with mocktails too, and, yeah, I mean, it's really hard at first because, you're dealing with so many elements of you're dealing with your own ability to be able to, like, kinda regulate when you go into that situation of, like, "Okay, I might be the only one that's not drinking here." How do I sit with that? How do I sit with other people that are you can almost feel their energy, or maybe what they say, is not supportive of that decision, yeah, I mean, one of my friends that worked on the project too, he was still asking if I didn't drink, and, yeah, I mean, it's a tough thing to navigate, and but, I mean, it's like the more that you're in this space, and I think what's really important about this work is, like, you just give yourself permission to feel, whatever it is, and I think we don't allow ourselves enough time to be with the emotions that are hard to sit with. It's
Yeah.
just like, we don't like that. We don't like that feeling. I gotta change it. I gotta, like, focus on something else. But, I mean, it's just something that's, like, moving through you, and it's probably trying to teach you something. And so I definitely think that this path, is a path of learning how to love ourselves more, and learning to how to be comfortable in our own skin. And there's freedom to that, There's freedom to that, to where it's like you can walk into that space and be like, I don't need this substance in order to change who I am, in order to be more comfortable in this environment. And, it's really, really cool, and it's weird to, like, walk into that situation and there's not more of that yet, It's like, I know, I can see around everybody's unique, beautiful personalities that it's like, you don't need this. You really
Yeah.
don't. No.
Yeah, it's actually alcohol is actually poison, like, we're actually poisoning our bodies, and I'm not saying this from a place of judgment. Um, I think the social aspect is really, really hard, and, the suppressing of the emotions probably a lot more people do that with alcohol and other substance use than they even realize. Like, I know, at least for me, that was my experience. And then once I removed the alcohol, tell me if this resonates with you,
Mm,
but stuff started floating up to the surface that I had suppressed for like my whole life. And I'm also 5 years, 5 years and change alcohol free. It's March of 2021, I think. Yeah. And COVID, when I was like slugging bottles of wine and like, then I was like, okay, wait a minute. Something's got to give. And there's more to that story. But a lot of stuff came up that was really uncomfortable to
yeah,
sit with.
yeah,
Um, and so how did you like work through that? What type of support did you have? And actually, was that your experience as well, where you're starting to have stuff bubble up from the past that you hadn't necessarily processed?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say it's probably still comes up, and it probably still will. I mean, it it's incredibly any type of addiction is it's really challenging to overcome because like you're so heavily dependent on it, and your mind is typically more powerful than you want to try and fight it and such. And so it yeah, I mean, I don't there was like this like appreciation for the hard stuff, like getting through it, and like through that time there's been different mentors and coaches that I've worked with, and um I've gone on different retreats and had different experiences and built relationships. And so it's like all these different things that have kind of shaped and supported, my journey throughout this process. And it yeah, I mean, it's like I grew an appreciation for what's hard. And I build practices like around my health and well-being in order to like kind of support when it is hard. And so, yeah, to get, 10 to 12,000 steps in per day. I've had a meditation practice for over 10 years. I go to the gym at least 3 or 4 days per week. Food wise has shifted a lot over the years. Very like conscious on, yeah, for the most part of like what goes in my body, because I mean that affects like how we feel as well. And then like the quality of rest and sleep and such, is so important too. And yeah, so I mean it's like building all these practices to support um yeah, when it's hard, but it's like, yeah, I've had some very like hard experiences in my life, and it's just me just deeply like crying, like just deep crying and like sobbing and like letting it flow. And when it comes up, I think too that's been a big shift over the past a little over 5 years. Is, like I'll be in the gym and I notice it coming up and I'm like, "Oh shit." Okay. I go to the bathroom. I stop my timer and like pause it and go to the bathroom. I'm just sitting in the stall and like crying. And then like let it out. And then I go back and finish the set. Cause then it's like I'm allowing it to like move through me. And I think that's what's so important. is because we don't know we don't know what's gonna trigger like that specific memory. Um, but it's like like even going like deeper into this work and practice too is that you know whatever's in the past is now in the past. And it's like we really just have to like recognize that like that happened and we can let it go and then move forward because the only moment we have is what's happening right now all the time. It's right now. And so it's yeah, I notice this the past few months it's been really awesome to experience kind of what's been a bit hard for the past few months. But like recognizing that, kind of like being like stuck in my thinking of and this like I noticed this too when I was drinking. Like I would be moving through the day and like looking around and just like kind of staring off into space and just not liking how I'm feeling and just like be wondering in my head like why do I feel this way? Like what like nothing happened. Like there's nothing like wrong in my life, but I still feel like this immense dread inside like and that like flavor like that yeah, I mean that just paints each experience in a different way. And so you come to realize that it's some type of thought that comes up that's like, okay, you you're holding on to whatever that thought is. And and then it's like and then that starts to grow and it's like energy um and you're still like trying to figure out like you're trying to process it, but it's really like moved into your body. And so but then you're still trying to process it in your mind. And so that's what then is keeps you stuck. And so but then it's like you realize like, okay, this is a thought that happened. Now I feel this way and just kind of recognize that that's here now and that it's going to shift because it will. Like we notice that that's what this life is all about is the ebbs and flows and the waves that come up and experience emotions in all different types of ways. So,
Yeah, that's beautifully said.
mm,
Um, gosh, a couple of things really jumped out at me. The first being like, I think I want to thank you. No, I know I want to thank you for this. It's like being honest about like that men can be emotional too and to process things because I think society and it's not just men, right? It's for women too. Like I remember when I first started in my like big girl job, if you will. And it's like you can't, wear your you have to leave your feelings at the door. You're not allowed to feel things. We don't
mhm,
teaching. It's like a fundamental flaw in our system. Um, where we're not teaching kids how to process their emotions, how to like taking back to your story when you were on your bike. Like I was crying because I had a one for you, um, for little you, because I just want to like go back in time and give you a hug.
mhm,
And and for me, because I had a similar experience um with the bullying and not knowing how to navigate that type of thing that comes up when you're a kid and they're just and like you said, I know you said you had a great childhood. Like I think people do their best with what they have at
mm,
the time, but the we're it's very often that we're not learning that in the school, in the home, um we're just not teaching the right things. I think we've made progress, but there's still a long um way to go. And so it's a broken system, and then you grow up and you're supposed to just, like, suppress all your emotions. You're not allowed to do that, and so what do? You reach for something that is going to numb that pain. It's so common, and I think a lot of people do that and don't even realize that they're doing that, and, like, the other piece that you said, it's never really about the thing, like, when it came up at the gym, whatever triggered that emotional release for you, which is
Mm,
great and it's healthy, um, it's, like, always something deeper than, like, the moment in time, and, like, our body holds on to this stuff, and then it comes out it comes out at random, times, like, at the gym, or I had very recently, I was in a massage, and, um, definitely some stored trauma was released, like, because she's massaging the fascia, and so there's
yeah.
I cry on the table, and she's like, "This is so common." There was one other piece too, that I wanted to touch on. Oh, the piece that you were saying about, like, letting it pass through, letting the emotion pass through and then moving on, because we talked about Buddha earlier. What's that
Mm,
quote? Like, if you hold on to a hot coal, you're the only one that's getting burnt. It's like, okay, honoring what's coming through, and then also not trying not to stay stuck there, because you essentially have 2 options: stay stuck or
yeah.
move forward, and so, like, again, kudos to you for finding the strength to be able to push through in those moments, because again, it's not an easy thing, and, like, you talked about all the stuff that you had, um, got in I'm gonna say got in check, oversimplification, but the food, feeling things, the meditation, the gym, like, these it can feel very overwhelming for people too, to, like, find the right tools for themselves, or to feel like they have to fix all of this at once, and so I say this thing of, like, Kaizen your life. You know
Mhm,
the
mm,
Kaizen you know what a Kaizen is? It's like a Japanese principle that they use in workplaces, and essentially take they take a procedure, they identify, what is the key problem, and then they fix that together as a team. You're in a room, there's, like,
oh, cool.
sticky notes flying around. I say we can do that with our lives too, but small incremental changes, like, you don't just like, removing alcohol is a first step that you did, right? And then the stuff after that with the food, I'd imagine it happened incrementally, to where we sometimes feel like we have to change everything overnight, but it's like starting eh, starting small and then building on that, like, over the last 5 years, and it sounds like you're still working on that and processing things that come up and moving through life.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I think, yeah, it becomes way overwhelming, like, we try to do everything at once. It's just like, you try to do everything at once, and then it's almost detrimental because it's like, "Oh, this is way too freaking hard, and I don't wanna do it." And then you just give up and just kind of accept life as the way it is, but it's like, it's just small changes, it was like meditation was guided at first. It was 5 minutes. It was maybe even like 3 minutes, and then it turned into 10, 15, and 20. And so it was gradual. And the same thing was with alcohol. It was like I was trying and trying and quitting and trying and trying, drink, 0 days for multiple days, and drink, a couple, but then it would be like 8 or 9. So, yeah, and even sleep too. I mean, it's like you invest in a better bed, you invest in a pillow, you get the room darker, it's all these little things that add up to where um yeah, it just becomes like consistent with your life, and you can just notice like how it feels different. And yeah, I mean, I really love what you said too about the education system. And I really think like from elementary through middle through high school, even college, there should be classes around emotional regulation. I mean, like, that should be, like, a requirement, and
Yeah.
just think, like, how big that would be of what a shift that would make in people's lives, of carrying that after, yeah, they get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you're better than me on the bike. You didn't fight back. In my story, and I'm not gonna share it on here because we have a
Yeah,
piece too, because I'm gonna go on
yes.
your podcast, super creative, but
Yes.
I was definitely laying the smack down on people, right? So there's, like, a
Yeah.
couple different ways that you can depending on how you're taught in your home or what your
Mm.
response to that is, like, you did the bigger thing to wa to walk away from the bully, and but those moments, I love what you said earlier, they, like, really shape how you show up and
Mhm.
how you see
Mhm.
yourself when
Mm.
somebody's telling you these like, I'm not sure what was said, and we don't have to even get into it, but it's hard when you're hearing this mean, nasty feedback, like, whether it's in school or in the home or even in the workplace, and it's like, how do you like, we're not teaching, that's sometimes a reflection of somebody else and what they're going through and, like, where are they coming from, and that's not your problem to hold on to, but it impacts you in your life, and
Mhm.
it's sad. Like, I know for me, I was bullied for a majority of my life, so that's when you're talking about the bullying piece, I think it's probably very common for people to be especially when you're bullied at a young age, to turn to alcohol to say, like, "I don't need to deal" or whatever you're turning to. "I don't need to deal with these emotions." Like, I don't know if you remember your first drink, would love to hear about that, but I remember it felt like something lifted off of my brain,
Mm.
um, like, I could physically it was Bush Light, like, it was
Mhm.
disgusting, by the way. And I was very low tolerance, I was 14, but it lifts something off your brain, right? And so you're like, "Oh, this is kinda cool, like, where has this been my whole life in the
Mhm.
absence of the
Mhm.
education on here's how to manage this stuff when it comes up." So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my first drink was Budweiser that my brother let me taste, and I wanted to spit it out. It was so disgusting. So, I was like, "Why are you drinking this shit? Like, who does this?" But it's like, then you just start pounding them away, and then that actually becomes like, "Oh, this is really good now." I think it, like, hit for me, though, with ecstasy, like, that like, doing that drug, um, man, I just, like, it it just puts you in this super, like, you just kind of feel superhuman, like, you just feel, like, so much love and warmth and, like, you could do anything, and that's
wow.
an incredible feeling, and it makes sense of why I was doing it every weekend. Um, it's like you come down and the the come down is hard and, you end up doing it again, but then but, I feel like, though, it's like I've got a piece, my next essay I'm working on, it's titled "The Vibrational High That Alcohol Can't Touch." And,
I love it.
it's it it's so good, I'm gonna go into, like, the different, like, retreats and such that I went on, but, like, I would say, like, recently, training for this trip that's coming up that I leave this weekend for, um
Is this Machu Picchu?
yes, yeah.
Cool.
I leave Saturday, I'm so excited. It's with Ryan Lee of Capsule Adventures, and it's sober, adventure travel, and so I'll be hiking Machu Picchu next week. Um, but I'm on the stairs, and, it's like this interval training, and like, I have the music on, but you feel it coming up, and you feel the tears starting to come up. But there's this just, like, I don't know, I guess it's just like a sense of freedom in that moment that you just feel free to, like, kinda move around of, like, I really, like, love this moment and this, like, who I am in this moment, and it's like it felt like kind of what that ecstasy was like, it's just for, like, a few minutes, but it's like, yeah, I mean, like, that type of feeling can be experienced and if not even better, and so, yeah.
I 100,000% agree with you. Travel is intoxicating. I am so jealous you're going to Machu Picchu. I can't wait to hear about it. And I think like traveling to different cities, it feels because you're immersing yourself in different cultures and like it's just different. It wakes something up in your body that's
Mhm.
it's such a beautiful thing. And I've never done like the ecstasy, so I don't like totally understand the feeling with that one, but I can imagine that what you described about like feeling hugged and feel it like it makes sense why you would, but like to your point, there are other ways you could be like high on life without
Yeah.
all of these other substances. Um, and so yeah, I mean that yeah, I'm excited for you for your trip and I think it's so that's why it's so important to have conversations like this where
Mm.
um we're being honest and open and vulnerable and if you're listening and you have any questions too, definitely drop them in the chat while we have Josh because this is just such a fruitful conversation and you know I think like I never touched like officially hard drugs. There's a very specific reason why I didn't though, otherwise I would have, which is both of my birth parents, because I was adopted when I was 2, they struggled with addiction, and specifically some of that was the hard drugs. So I if I would have done that, I don't think we'd be sitting here having this conversation right now because I might be in a so I always knew, but it's the same thing with alcohol. You're chasing this feeling of numbing, but I have heard to overcome, like, the harder drugs is even more challenging. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
I can't even like, that has to be really, really, really hard, but you found all of these, like, wonderful things to do to help yourself, and I love what you said about, like, loving on yourself, because life's not easy, um, but it has to come do you agree? It kinda has to come from within.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I mean, I mean, that's why I think, like, when I talked about that kinda being stuck and, like, feeling like you're like, can't move and you're looking at out into space, I believe that that's when your heart is closed. That's the feeling that is what's going on, and so it's we get our hearts broken, and it's like it closes up. We don't like to feel it, but, it's like what can like our hearts are resilient, they're so powerful. It's like we keep coming back. And I think it's like we learn so much from what each experience is. It's like how can I open my heart in this moment? How can I open it? How can I be fully present for what's happening, even if it feels a bit uncomfortable. And that's where that high comes from. Like, it really does. Like, you can I mean, like, I just love the mornings now, like, just going out each time, like, going out for a walk, and you just look at all the little details of whatever it might be that's happening, like, around you, and you're just really appreciating it and appreciating life, and, um, yeah, yeah, it's definitely hard, but I mean, I think, yeah, it's recognizing when, like, my heart's closed, when, like, I'm resisting life the way that it is, it's like I don't like what is happening in reality, and I don't know how to change it, and so therefore I remain stuck, and then it's still like your mind's just like, "How do I fix this? How do I fix this? How do I fix this?" And you fix it by being present with what is and accepting and doing your best to, like, open your heart and continue to move forward, so, yeah.
I love it. It's beautiful. The mind, body, heart,
Mhm, mhm.
soul connection, all of it. You said something too about the mornings. Um, you probably feel like your days got longer when you stopped with the
Totally,
substances, right?
totally, totally, yeah, I mean, my schedule has definitely shifted, I'm I was, like, going to bed at 11 p.m., 12 a.m., 2 a.m., 3, 4, whatever it was, and the days that I would be doing, like, production work where we would have to be up at 4 or 5 a.m., and, I'd be traveling to go to a job, and I'd be driving past the gym, and I'd see people out running, and I'd be like, "There's no way that's ever gonna be me."
Look at you
Well,
now.
look at me now. Yeah, yeah,
You're flying Machu Picchu.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the mornings are the best, and it's pretty consistent, like, I just naturally get tired at 8, and, yeah, just stay consistent with it, and no alarm clock, like, just naturally get up around it was 4 for a while, but yeah, it's between 4 and 6 that I'm, like, naturally getting up and such now, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
that you're excited for the day and not
Sure.
laying in bed with angst. Like, hangovers are
Mm.
terrible. Anybody who says that they're not, I need to speak with you.
Yeah,
Especially as you got older, like, the hangovers were I'd be in bed for I would lose a full day of
totally, totally, and then it's like you lose the whole day, and then you stack that shame and guilt on top of it, and then you just go back to, like, drinking again, and then it's that cycle. Fuck, I don't wanna do this. This is my one life that I have, and it's like it hits you at some point that's like, "I'm the only one that can make this change." Like, and that was like I think that's what's so tough is, like, there were times where people were saying, like, "Are you sure you want another one? Are you sure? You sure you want another one?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I am. Of course I want one." But it's like, it really, like, has to come within, like, to be like, "Okay, I'm ready." But I mean, it's not as hard as your mind makes it out to be. So, I mean, you can yeah, determination and support, it's possible to yeah, to make a big change. And so, I mean, I, this past January started, my, like, dry January experience called the Sober Creative Reset,
okay,
and it was incredible, incredible. I developed 31 daily email prompts that have illustrations and just really, like, short, intentional emails that ask a question that you can reflect on throughout the day. um, WhatsApp group, um, weekly meetings, and yeah, I mean, it's been amazing for people to have that and to go through that experience and see the shifts from all over. I mean, people that have a really tough relationship with it, but then people that they might still be drinking after they do the experience, something like, "Oh, I just wanna take a break from it and see what it's like," but it's really an experience to build awareness, around your relationship with it, and so, yeah, I really, really enjoy doing those. Um,
I love that initiative. You're changing lives, and, you said something earlier too that, like, the 3-month mark you talked about,
yeah, yeah.
which is very I wonder about this. I don't know if there's any data out there or anything, but I resonate with that too. If after you get over that hump, like the initial 90 days, I'm kind of like, I don't wanna go like, I don't ever wanna go back. Like, I never wanna have that feeling again. Um, because it's like this. Like, the
Mhm,
aftermath is worse. Uh,
mhm,
it may feel good in, like, a moment in time, maybe. I mean, also, if you're a crazy, raging drunk, then it might not feel good. Like, I remember waking up and having, like, "Who did I piss off last night?" Like, "What did I do?" Like, some people just aren't like, even I yeah, some people just are very sensitive to substances, I will say, and, like,
yeah, yeah.
so nothing good ever came out of, like, I'm speaking specifically about alcohol to where it's like, why would I like, not a thing good ever came out of it other than
Mhm,
um, damaging relationships, um, losing full days, like, but in the moment, you feel this, like, euphoria,
mhm.
and then you feel like an absolute dumpster fire the the next day, and then you do it all over again, but so yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't, like, miss any of that because now you develop this newfound joy for life and, like, finding your way back to things that you used to enjoy before you then just your whole, like, I don't know, for me, my whole life is just, revolved around, like, when are we gonna go out and, like, drink again and go party, and it's in the culture, and it's like, now you actually like, I actually do things that I want to do and that I hope make me a better person, and, I'm not sure if that resonates with you too, but kind of on a soapbox now.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, it's really nice to, like, imagine a world without it, or with it's it's a really big feat, to imagine this, that I was at an event recently, and it was at, like, a music venue complex that's outdoors, and I got there earlier than it was going to start, and it was like a Earth Day event, and so there's yoga in the morning, and then you go and you pick up, like, litter and such around, afterwards, and so I'm in that complex, and it's completely there's a few staff members, like, getting stuff ready, and I walk back, and I'm just kinda like, I had never been to that space even though it's here locally, and, I walk back to where there's, like, the big empty stage, and you just see the vastness of how big this event is, and I'm just imagining, all these events where, people are just getting hammered, and you see all the alcohol advertisements and the little stations that are strategically spread out, through the event space, and, and like, not even counting the pregame, of all the cans and such that we're picking up, around the woods, in the area, but I'm just, like, imagining, like, a music concert without it, like, what would that be like? What would that be like if, like, everybody was sober and they felt like the energy presence of each other around each other that was like way more powerful, way more powerful than alcohol could ever give.
Oh, that's gonna make me you're gonna make me cry now. That's the second time.
It's
That's
like it started to come up for me too, yeah.
yeah. That would be such a beautiful thing. I'm just gonna contrast it really quickly because I like to bring humor. Like, now when I walk around an outdoor music festival, it smells like urine because everyone's peeing all over the parking lot, okay? Like, go to the porta potty, okay? No, it
Get
does.
yourself together.
Get
Come on now.
together. I'm not gonna say I haven't had my pass, but it's like a totally different like, you actually remember your time.
Everybody could drive home, it's like yeah, yeah,
Yeah, everyone's safe, as safe as they can be. Oh gosh, we used to get these big they were shaped I would go to country concerts. I grew up in New Jersey, and there was guitar-shaped beer, like, really big, and daiquiris, and I used to,
yeah.
like, look forward to, it was part of the experience. I'm gonna, like, you know, do a bunch of shots in the parking lot and drink and play beer pong, and then I'm gonna go inside and I'm gonna get my daiquiri because I really needed more, you know?
Yeah, 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 it's never just one. It's
No.
never just one, and it's like you're, like, stumbling on the way into the event, and the event hasn't even started. It's like, "Fuck, I can't even" you gotta carry me into the event and probably drag me out afterwards.
Oh my
And then
gosh. Yes,
and
you probably have stories.
I mean, not, like
No?
not crazy stories, no. I mean, like, for me, event spaces are pretty overwhelming for me, to be honest. Like, I've got stories, like, around, like, leaving early just because I just, like, I don't know, like, just I guess, feeling the energy in the space was probably too much, like, the sensory experience, I mean, like, I was just having coffee with my friend a few days ago, and I mean, this happens when we have coffee and we're out in a public space. It's so hard for me to, like, sit across from her and just, like, fully take in what she's saying because there's 20 conversations, like, happening around me, and it's just so much, and my brain just wants to just it's a freaking monkey and just, like, wants to just go all over the place, and it's like I can almost feel like this is what it looks like, inside, like, trying to watch and pay attention, like, this sucks to sit here for, like, a fucking hour, like, trying to listen to you, and yeah, I mean, I do my best, and it's like, but yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. Um
It is hard. I get it. I get super overstimulated too by noises and oh my gosh, even at home, if the dryer's going while the dogs are barking and the TV's on and my husband's talking to me, I'm like, "I yeah, your shoulders, like, it was the perfect those your shoulders are up to your ears. You can feel, like, I don't know what the emotion is, coursing through your body, like angst, just coursing through your veins, that's a thing." Well, that makes sense because music festivals, yes, they're very overwhelming in that
You know
way.
you know what's helped though is that, like, I experienced the state fair, last year with my same friend and her kids, and I put earplugs in. Game changing. Like, that was game changing. Like, I'm walking around, like, I'm taking that element away that's the sensory experience of all the noise and the sounds, and so I just have the visual, and, I mean, I can still hear everything, but it's not as yeah, it's not as intense, and it was way more enjoyable. So, yeah, yeah.
I love that. Do you use the loops?
I
Or what
think I think so, I think there were just some off-brand
yeah.
that I bought, but yeah, I mean, they're really good. Yeah.
They're so
Nice.
they are so good. Um, I have them too. Yeah. Brand aside, like, well, the reason I like these one loops is because there's 3 different modes, and so you can pick your mode, like, you can completely drown out the noise. It's just like a little
Cool.
I wish I had them at my desk, but anyway,
Mhm.
if you're listening, try some and you have sensory sensitivities, I think we're telling you, maybe try out some earplugs.
Yeah, that definitely helps for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, we've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes. It feels like 5 minutes. I could sit on here with you all day.
I know, I'm so excited we get to do it again, and, it's like a month, I think? Is it in
Yeah,
July? Is it July?
it's June, I think end of June,
End
like
of
June
June, okay.
25th or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to come on to your podcast to tell a
I
little
can't
bit
wait to
about.
hear yours. I think we did a good job. You gave a little bit, but, not too much, so I can't wait for you to share, so
That's hard for me sometimes as with my ADHD. I'm like, "I wanna tell you everything right now." No, it is a practice to actively listen to, and I wanted to, talk with you and hear your experience, and I'm so grateful for you coming on and the space that you're creating for people. It is incredible. So I know now if I come across somebody, like, I can refer them to you, to your community because it's, like, online too, right? Which is
yeah.
so cool with the accessibility, and if you're here, because I see we have 21 people, if you could I'm just kinda testing the waters here, can you tap the heart? Because I feel like the algorithm will push this out if we hit the
Ooh,
so, yeah,
I
um,
like seeing all those pop up. I'm gonna do it myself.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Apparently it pushes it out so more people can see this because I think well, I know this is such an important conversation to have, and I love your perspective and no doubt that you're an awesome coach, and I
Thanks,
can't
man.
wait to watch your, movie that you shot that's coming out. And you're climbing Machu Picchu, and you have just such fun stuff on the horizon. So, I'm so glad we were able to meet, and I can tell you have such a big heart, and thank you for coming on and sharing your story with us.
Yeah, I appreciate you so much, Jen, and it's been such an honor to share space with you and everybody that's been here with us. I really appreciate it, and yeah, this has been so fun. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you everybody for joining. I will if you joined late, no worries because I'm gonna post this on um Divergent Talent Alchemist Substack. So if you're not subscribed to me, definitely hit the subscribe button. Same with for Josh. He is sober creative. And so he hosts a ton of great discussions as well. So really encourage you to give him a not a follow, but a subscribe so you get the messages into your inbox. And yeah, I really want to thank everybody for joining. This was a really good turnout for an important discussion. And thank you, Alan, for joining us. I don't even want to go. It was like so good that I just want to stay on with you. And you have
Um,
good energy about you. So again, thank you
Thanks, Jen.
very much. And we will post this up so you can catch the full replay and have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jen.
Bye.